Second volunteer. Come on up. We're going to be about 8 of us up here eventually. Okay, so she would come to the cache, or actually you would see, because as I opened up the cache to get out all the supplies, thing on top is our flag designating the headquarters. So this is flying outside of whatever building we have designated. And if there are no safe buildings, we have one of those pop-up tents that we could set up as a headquarters outside. And so she would see the flag and she would know where to go and where the headquarters has been set up. And so she sees the volunteers table out front, she knows exactly where to go, and she would sign in and have everything taken care of with that. So, what is the first thing that the volunteers are supposed to do? Okay, and then there should be, actually I'm trying to read over your shoulder there to see what your first duty is. It's just essentially asking people their abilities and etc. Okay, so here it is. First priority is to man the headquarters and working with the staff officer. Well, right now we don't have a staff officer because we have to sign everyone in. So more than likely, unless you have extreme medical or search and rescue skills, we're going to use you in the headquarters. So do you understand that the medical training and the search and rescue training are primo training that you don't want to put, say, on documentation in a headquarters? You want them to be going out and starting the assessments. So if you get someone like that, you may end up bypassing a little bit of the headquarters stuff and going straight to search and rescue. In this case, the first assessment of the neighborhood. And that is the quick runaround of the neighborhood to make sure that nothing's on fire, you don't smell gas, the water's not bursting out of someone's house, the major things like that, looking for big stuff. Because if your whole neighborhood's on fire, are you setting up a headquarters? No. So you kind of want to know that right away. Okay, so in this case, she is going to be documentation, so she signs in, gets her whistle and her ID card, and she can take that with her. Now you can see that this volunteer table can easily become congested. You might have 10 people show up all at once. So be creative, come up with ways to get all those people signed in, have them take their ID cards somewhere else so they can write them down, and then this is purely for checking in. Just everyone see, you just have to be flexible with this. You may need a second or a third person. So this is how you expand as needed. Okay, so we've got the volunteers. Okay, and then obviously the commander is going to decide where the needs are. And so as far as we can tell, we don't smell any smoke or gas. On my way in, I had to walk, like, say, 5 houses away to get to the cache. So I kind of looked around to see what was going on and took some mental notes so I know what's happening. She did the same thing from her house, and everyone else was coming in is going to write down, hey, did you know that? And fill in the blank. Okay? So, set up the headquarter team. So, staff officer, you just volunteered. So, staff officer, let me find you. Oh, here you are. Okay, so of course it would be in my backpack and my booklet. I would hand that to you, and then you would read it. And essentially all of these checklists say, read the instructions before you start. Because you don't want someone to go, do this, and then it says, and make sure that you do this at the same time. Well, So you want to make sure you know what all your duties are, because you may actually change the order depending upon the situation. The checklists are written, clear day, beautiful weather, no earthquake, and you think you've thought of everything, but you don't. So you have to be flexible. Okay, so what does it say that you have to do?
Well, I have to make sure I have all my safety equipment.
Okay.
I'm wearing my hard hat or helmet and whistle and ID card. And I have my whistle. And I assist you in selecting the location for the headquarters.
If it hasn't already been done.
Right, and if that may mean setting up the tent, the easy up tent. And then I get the supply kit from the cache on 2 bulletin boards.
Okay, that just happens to be our specific, sorry. We have a specific thing in here. It probably just should be get your supplies, whatever you decide to have. So we have this big container, and then we have these bulletin boards magically set themselves up like,
Wow,
anyways, yeah.
Oh, and so we set up operations. and use the diagrams to guide us and ensure the flag or poster is displayed, as you said. Make sure we have 3 areas. The volunteers are outside. The administration is in the front area of the house or the tent. And communications in the quiet place in the rear of the house, for example.
Okay, does everybody follow that general guideline? Okay, because you've got a buffer zone here where messages are coming in from the volunteers and have to be processed before they head back.
So then you start the generator and set up electrical power and lighting.
Now that's also as needed. So if it's nighttime and you've decided to go outside even though it's pitch black and you don't know what's all going on, you might do that. Or maybe it's becoming dark. The earthquake was at like 6 p.m. So that might be a priority for you. But realize that fuel is going to be precious. And so you're going to use the generator probably on and off.
Then I need to set my priorities in there to get volunteers, volunteer workers, communication workers, and administration workers. And just keep track of everything going on.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and summarize that because, of course, that could take probably another 10 to 15 minutes in and of itself. So the next set of volunteers are going to come up, and you're going to, of course, ask for medical and search and rescue. You're going to sign them in, and let's bring a few more people up here. So come on up, don't be shy.